For months, the United States was falling apart. Then, in April of 1861, the first shots were fired. After all of these southern states started leaving the Union, there was a question floating around. What happens to the U.S. military forts that were located within the confines of the Confederacy? One of those was Fort Sumter. Located in Charleston Harbor, this fort remained under Union control after South Carolina seceded. So, it's probably not surprising to anybody that shortly thereafter, Union leaders started to demand the release under federal control so they could take control of it themselves. But Major Robert Anderson refused to leave, despite the fact that the supplies of the fort were running dangerously low. Abraham Lincoln announced that, as president, it was within his power to send food and supplies to the garrison. So the Confederacy saw that as a challenge. But before the supplies could arrive, Confederate forces under P.G.T. Beauregard opened fire. At 4:30 in the morning on April 12th, artillery shells began raining down on Fort Sumter and would continue to do so. This bombardment lasted for over a day. Outgunned and out of resources, Anderson finally decided to surrender. Shockingly, no one died during the Battle of Fort Sumter. Not during the actual battle. Someone died in an accident, not during the battle. The actual casualty, the first casualty of the Civil War, was after this. That's a whole weird story. I actually did cover that in 2025. But the consequences were enormous, despite the fact there was no lives lost, because with these shots, with this battle, it was official. The Civil War had begun. Coming up, both sides thought that this war was going to be a few months and then be back home. Boy, were they wrong. The war went on long enough for the president to make a declaration.